Hello and welcome to my week 35 pregnancy vlog. I'm reviewing the weeks 34 to 35. Sorry, I got confused with the child in the background, then I forgot where the camera was. I think it was that end, Ugh, I don't really want to stare at myself. That's mildly terrifying. Anyway, hello and welcome. I'm 35 weeks pregnant today. Everything is going well. It's a little bit more of a TMI gross sort of update this week. So if you are of a nervous disposition or you don't want to hear about things that involve my undercarriage, you may want to give this one a skip. Or if you just like staring at bumps because, you know, that floats your boat, skip to the end of the vlog. I don't care if you have a bit of a belly fetish. That's fine. That will be at the end. Okay, see you in a bit. Yeah, I know, I'm mental. Anyway, I did not sleep last night because Edie's not feeling well. Again, this diseased child. One of the symptoms, actually, I thought, because again, getting straight into the gross stuff, I thought my looser bowels, not diarrhea or anything like that, but I'm having looser consistency bowels and whatnot, were due to the cramps and the Braxton Hicks and all that lot that I've got going on, which I'll go into a bit more, until Edith woke up this morning having had some sort of bowel explosion that I'm pretty sure something's died in her intestines, and I'm actually amazed it did not melt the nappy, and she's done that 3 times now, and it's nasty. Though mine are not as bad as hers, so it could be unrelated, but it may be related, I don't know. But yeah, my daughter is diseased. Oh, it's wrong. You know, there's hair. Oh, there was. I don't care. Anyway, so that is one symptom. Another symptom also to do with the cramps, which I will go on to, is the shedding of the mucus plug. Now, this has been going on, as I said a few weeks ago. It's not something I mention all the time because, you know, no one really wants to hear about things that are leaking out of that area of a woman's anatomy, ideally. But it's stepped up to the consistencies slightly thicker, and it's more frequent to the point that liners are definitely needed. And I sent my husband to get panty liners, and definitely panty liners, and make sure it had panty liners written on the packet. I've got the message, I could stick it in at the end. So he came home with sandwich towels. And he went, but they were in the panty liner section. I said, make sure, the message was panty liners, make sure on the box it states panty liners, not just from the panty liner section. Must say panty liners. Oh, I was like, yeah, look, message. Read it. Never mind. Bless him, at least he went. So I've got some sandwich towels. Not what I needed. So yes, that stepped up, but that's also is a bit weird. I get Braxton Hicks where I go really, really, really sorry. There's still a hair on my face. That's so freaking annoying. Obviously, because my children are here, nothing I say is going to be overly disturbing. I'm not that bad of a parent. Close, but not that bad. So, yeah, I get Braxton Hicks where I go rock solid and it is uncomfortable. You're like, oh, because you can't move and you're whole. Because he takes up, like, all of me now. Like, he's in my ribs, all the sides. I mean, if you poke this rock solid baby, I'm not sure how much water's actually in my bump. It's just solid kid. I'm trying to think what I was saying. That's one kind. I also get ones which are period pains that start right down at the bottom, like right at the base of my bump, not quite that low, but right at the base of my bump, like proper period cramps that go ow, ow, and they spread up, but I don't necessarily go rock solid. And I notice when I get those, I tend to lose plug. As it were, excuse the sniffing, that's another thing I will have to do. It's just if I feel like I'm going to sneeze, I have to sniff to stop myself sneezing, otherwise I get a nosebleed. And for the last 4 days, like there's like no skin here. It's really kind of weird, and I just keep getting sneezing and it starts a nosebleed, so I have to, like that, because that stops the sneeze. I don't understand, I just know it works. So yeah, I've had a nosebleeds as well, which I got at the end with Alice, particularly Alice. They were awful, they were like pouring, and a couple bits with the one that you can't see that's over there, because there's one here, and one over there. Who's playing on the iPad? Can you hear? So nosebleeds, discharge, lightning crotch, lightning ass. They're fun. He's definitely, I'm pretty damn sure he's dropped. I'll put the pictures in at the end, as I said. Let me know if you think he's dropped, because I'm feeling a lot of pressure down. There are times where it feels like he is literally becoming way too friendly with my cervix. I'm like, oh, that's not nice. Oh, stinkers. Oh, jeez. And it's properly low and a little bit uncomfortable, but nothing too bad. The worst thing is, at the beginning of the week, I had really awful acid reflux, and I had a couple of days where I didn't have it, but it's been back today a wee bit, but nowhere near as bad as it was. which is good. Hiccups, excellent. And that gives me more acid reflux. Who does not love that? The worst one, again, this week on an annoyance factor is the back pain and the pelvic pain. Again, that's where he's dropped. I've got a lot of pressure on the base. You know, where you get period backache for women that have period backache. You'll know what I mean. The rest of you, I really am so pleased for you, but I hate you a little bit if you do not know what I'm talking about. It's like the very, very base of your spine. There's this fist and it hurts. It's a lot of pressure and it hurts. It aches. It's like a bone ache. It feels like your bone is bruised and it's not overly pleasant. And I get that, and that spreads across my back and it makes sleeping really quite difficult. But I found randomly, if it wasn't my stupid wrist that had carpal tunnel in this one and it still flares up if I'm not careful, I found that scrubbing the floors actually helped with the backache in an odd way. It gave me a different kind of backache which didn't hurt as much. So I preferred the other kind of backache. But yeah, that's it pregnancy wise. I think it's all counted on the fact that he's dropped and the pressure's down there and everything is like lower. I do not, however, think this means I'm going to give birth anytime soon. I'm not worried about giving birth anytime soon. Part of me would happily kick him out right now because I'm getting to that uncomfortable, can't sleep, impatient, hormonal, crazy pregnant lady area of the pregnancy, which is a joy, and I apologise in advance to my husband. But other than that, you know, everything's fine. I will probably play with the induction methods, but I will not be doing anything till like 38, 39 weeks because I just don't think babies should come out before then, ideally. And also, I'm one of these people that very greatly believes you can do whatever the hell you want, but if that kid's not coming out, they're not coming out. I mean, I'm not going to eat 10 tons of pineapple. I'm not going to be walking around in permanent squatting position like a crab, crabbling across the floor. I'm not going to be doing any of that crazy ass stuff because if you go into a doctor, into a hospital, they use every drug under the sun and induce you and it can still take days. If it's not meant to happen, it's not going to happen. The end. However, I will use like clary sage in the bath towards the end because that can help get you ready. Maybe take some evening primrose orally. If it helps sort of like soften things and reduces my next fear, which is tearing. Yeah. That's what I'll do. But past that, I'll play. I don't think it'll work, but I may have a play. I don't know. You keep doing that then. Oh, you want that? There you go. All done. You take it. Sorry. The other thing is people saying, oh, don't panic so much if he's big. You'll be fine. I've given birth to a big baby and everything. That is true. I'm with you. A lot of people find their bigger babies are easier to come out. Definitely true with mine. The 6 pound, 13 ounce baby caused way more damage than the 8 pound baby, hands down. However, excuse this long bit, but it's because of his birth. Bless him. It's not his fault. Well, it is his fault. I'm going to hold it against him forever. He broke me. I keep looking at the wrong bit. When George was born, for those of you that are new, he was 6 pounds 13 ounces, induced at 39 weeks because I had preeclampsia. Nothing major. I'd managed to get pretty close to the end, so it was fine. It was the only complication I've ever had in pregnancy that actually caused issues. Blah, 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 blah. The problem is he, like all of my children, or thousands of them, all 3 of my children have come out back to back, but he came out with his hand up, like Superman style. I think his fist was like that on his head. I did not see, so I'm taking other people's word for this. And obviously, special boy, when he exited, he caused some damage. So after giving birth in like a natural drug-free induction labour, which I was quite proud of myself for, I had a hemorrhage, a bad tear, and I ended up in theatre. I was given a spinal block and repaired. And then like platelets or some stuff, I don't know. Because I had a postpartum hemorrhage and a 3rd-degree tear and an episiotomy, and it all needed repair in theatre. Now, not the end of the world. He was all right after being resuscitated. That was the most important thing. I missed out on the first couple of hours of his life, but he was fine. We bonded. That's by the by. It doesn't, that stuff doesn't matter. It wasn't the dream labour, but clearly didn't traumatise me too much. I've had 2 more and I'm having a baby for someone else. So, fine. My issue with this is if I have a home birth, which we have done because I haven't really gone into it and I don't really want to do a really long video, so I apologise if this ends up being a 15-minuter. Hopefully it won't. In England, because the genetics have got nothing to do with it. Even if I was a gestational carrier and the baby had nothing to do with me, Baxton Hicks, ow, and the baby had absolutely nothing to do with me, I would be the child's mother and my husband is the child's father according to UK law. It's retarded, it's stupid, it needs to change. But it is what it is. So if we're in hospital, you have this whole thing. If I leave the hospital and the baby needs to stay for whatever reason, I get done by social services for abandonment. You know, it causes a whole host of problems. That's one of the main reasons I wanted to do a home birth, because we have a home birth. There's no confusion. No one's going to accidentally hand the baby to me. The baby will be handed to his parents. Everything will be fine. There will be no major issues there. We then hang around for 6 hours until the post-birth checkup can be done on baby, which I have to legally be present for. Fine. They'll check baby over, and then my IPs tootle off home with their son, and I get to have a bath. Well, I'll probably have had a bath at that point. I get to go to bed or do whatever the heck I want. My life is back to being mine. I just take some time, heal, whatnot. However, if I give birth at home and I tear badly to the point that I need to go into hospital, I then end up going into hospital and the baby has to come with me because it hasn't been checked. So the baby, and I have to be there when the baby's checked, and I will have to go into hospital for at least 24, if not 48 hours, because I will be given a spinal block again for theatre repair. So the problem then is I would be admitted, so would the baby be admitted. I'm then in charge of that baby's care. My IPs, because they're two men, might not, they might, but it's not guaranteed by any stretch, might not be allowed on the ward apart from a couple of hours here and there because they're the parents. But then I'm in charge of this child for 24 to 48 hours or whatever. I have to go in, have a repair under, you know, a spinal block. I won't be able to move for God knows how many hours. I'm then stuck in charge of this baby. The parents won't be necessarily be allowed to be with their baby, and it just causes the whole kerfuffle again, that the baby has to be discharged with me, but then if something goes wrong, it's just a whole lot of hassle that we really, really don't want. So that's my fear about him being big, is if he is quite big and he does tear me on the way out, I don't want to have to be, you know, sent to hospital via ambulance for a repair and essentially rob my IPs of the first couple of hours with their son, or the first couple of days maybe with their son. I want to, you know, be able to give birth here. I will tear. I had a second degree, both my girls. That's fine. Oh, you know, I'd happily tear, get sewn up while they goo over the baby, have a shower and whatnot, and then they get to tootle on home a few hours later. I don't want that whole hassle. But the other reason where it's easier doing that than having a hospital birth, and then, you know, I'm there for repair and then we can all be released afterwards, blah, 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 blah. The other option, of course, is my labours are really quick. My daughter's was an hour maybe. So the chances of me actually getting, if this labour follows suit with the other patterns, with the 6 hour, the 4 hour and the maximum of 2 hour, I wouldn't make it to the hospital. I'd end up giving birth in the car or in the car park. I nearly did with Edith. I mean, I had been in the hospital for 7 minutes when I gave birth. We set off like right away because I knew it was going to be quick. So home birth is the safest option because I should be able to get midwives here and give birth in a safe environment rather than being in a car at the side of the road or in a car park or in the hospital hallways. So with all of that and history and everything, that's where my fear is based on. That's why I've chosen a home birth, not just because I want to be popular on YouTube or whatever cheesy stuff. That's not why I'm getting a dog, because I want to fit in with everyone else. It's because, you know, this is my life, and medically, woo, hi, my phone fell, sorry. Medically speaking, that is the wisest option for us, considering my history. And I don't think having fast labours is bad enough or enough of an issue to warrant me not being a surrogate. So, yeah, I'm going to get off because it is going to be a 15-minute video almost with the pictures, so my apologies for that. But it has contained stuff, I think, that hopefully is worth listening to. You'll have to let me know. But as usual, any comments or anything below, I'm going to try and make hubby do the question and answer vlog with me tonight. We were genuinely going to do it the other night, but then Alice had nightmares, so we ended up dealing with her rather than just sitting down and playing and whatnot. So yeah, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.